Hey everybody, welcome back. This is going to be probably a shorter little video. I wanted to walk through some jQuery things with you to kind of get you familiar with it. Now, pretty much everything I'm going to be doing here is going to be based in some way around this page's tutorial, and mainly because it's a lot of the common uses for something like jQuery. Now, a couple of things. I've been talking to some of my friends in industry, and just to make sure that I'm still on top of things. And apparently, there's a trend of people leaving jQuery as popular and going more towards different frameworks like React or Angular, where some of these techniques are built in. And I just kind of wanted to address that really quickly because yes, it's true that frameworks come and go. I think jQuery is still very popular. It's still being updated. There's a ton of documentation out there for it. And if you don't need one of these big, massive frameworks like React or Angular or any of the other big JavaScript frameworks that are out there, there's nothing wrong with jQuery to give your site a little bit of, flair or interaction. I mean, it's still working just fine. I'm not saying it's good or bad, just it is, I guess. So I wanted to at least start up with that because, it's good for me to keep up with some of these things, and it's good for you all to be aware of that as well. And you'll note this is from 2019, so in terms of the internet time, jQuery is really ancient, but again, it's still really kept up to date. Anyway, I'm going to be using Jsfiddle for all of these examples that I'm going to be going through. As a refresher, if you want to use jQuery on your website, either you need to download it, meaning that you need to grab the jQuery file. Here you see jQuery 3.4.1.min. And what this is going to be is if you were to go to jQuery, you could download it, for instance, and get the minified version, meaning it's that gobbledygook of no white space whatsoever. It's all just kind of meshed together for making it hard to read and saving a little bit of loading time. You can also link to a content delivery network. So here's one of them. There's multiple CDNs you could use to link to it. Basically, if you were to do something like this, you're just reaching out to an external site to bring the library in. And you'll see this is honestly pretty common with a lot of JavaScript packages or libraries or things like that. Other benefit is they're kept up to date. If you can like link to the latest one, that's kind of nice. Although with jQuery, sometimes versions will break old features, so you have to be careful with that. But that's neither here nor there. You're going to see this in some of the other demos that we do. In Jsfiddle, it's a little bit different. So this again is Jsfiddle. Here's our HTML, CSS, JavaScript, our result. We don't load it in from a repository. We don't download the file. What we can really do here is click this dropdown, and you see right now JavaScript plus no library. So basically, we're not loading anything in. I can click this, and I can pick the library that I want. So I could use Angular, I could use Create.js, I could use Mood Tools. There's Paper.js, here's Pixie if you want to do graphics. There's Processing if you want to do generative artwork. Raphael is another game library. Here's React, which we'll get to. 3JS if you want to do 3D graphics. Vue.js. Basically lots of options that you can just preload in here. I wasn't aware that these existed, which I find kind of cool. But here is my list of jQuery versions, and I'm just going to pick the latest one, the Edge version. But if I had an application built for a specific version of jQuery, I would pick that here. So I'm going to pick Edge, and now we see that it's loading in right there. And what this means is that when we go to use our dollar notation, things will just kind of work, whereas if you don't, things will not work. So let's start with a very simple demo. So I'm going to have, what do we want to do? Paragraph tag, hello world. Okay, run. It's gorgeous. All right, well, I don't like that. Let's give it an ID. ID equals hello. Perfect. In my JavaScript here, I can do $, hello, this.html. Sure. Creativity's gone today already. It's not even 1 o'clock yet. All right, so what I've got going on is paragraph tag with an ID. Okay, so standard HTML. My jQuery code here, probably have a broken something or other. Oh, that's a $sign. That's why. Even tells you if there's errors, which I like. When this page loads, and this is basically the onload command or the document.ready that you would get in jQuery, I'm going to replace the HTML for this thing with sure. So let's run, and magically it is gone. Okay. So one of the first things that we're going to play with is the onClick event. Now I've got my tag here, and depending on where I cut the last bit where I induced a syntax error that you're not going to see, because it's really embarrassing, I've got my paragraph tag with an ID. Now let's go ahead and make it clickable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say pound hello dot click equals function. I think I've got the syntax. Ah, yes. Okay. It's not equals. Keep forgetting this about JavaScript. Equals function. There we go. Okay. For some reason, this syntax just never sticks in my mind. I don't know why. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to grab the element named hello, and again, there should only be one of these. When I click it, I'm going to execute some arbitrary function in here. And what I want to do is say this.html, hello there. And so I'll change this up a bit. So when I run this, and I click, hello there, magically changed. Okay, so what's going on? Again, I'm grabbing the specific element on the click event, and then inside, I'm calling $sign and then this. And all this is really doing is saying whatever this element I'm interacting with is going to be included in the this keyword. I could just as easily have done, pound hello again, and it would do the same thing. And actually, let's go ahead and do that just to show you. All right, so see, same thing. Not a big deal, but just kind of a good understanding of what the word this is doing. All right, so there's lots of different ways that we can click things. Let's animate something. Okay, so this will be a little bit more fun. Sorry, like I said, I don't have a script for this particular demo. I just wanted to show you some things you can do with jQuery. Honestly, I would recommend going to this page and just playing around with some of the demos to see what you can do. But let's go ahead and animate this thing. So I'm going to, let's make this a little bit, you can see me off screen there. Oh, I forgot about this silly, resizing. Okay. I'm going to move my demo here to this screen just so that I can see it at once. Basically, let's do a little bit of an animation here. Yeah, so let's get rid of this. I'm going to leave my paragraph tag here. Now, let's go ahead and say, how do I do this? Let's do it on click. All right, so $pound hello dot click function. Okay, so on my click method here, let's go ahead and animate it. So this.animate, and we're going to change its opacity to 1, bottom plus equals 15. And I'm just following the guide at this point. Let's say, yeah, this.html. Let's do text. Stop auto-completing. Hello, friends. Do internet speak. And then close this, close that. All right, what do I have wrong here? Opacity 1 dot animate bottom plus equals 15. That should be right. Yeah. Let's comment this out. Is this not gonna? Yeah, that doesn't like that either. Okay. Maybe it's old syntax. Let's see what happens. Doesn't like that. Plus 15? Okay, so that clicked. Opacity 0.1? Okay. So it doesn't like this bottom plus equals 15. I'll have to look that up and see what's going on. I would have expected that to work just fine. I could also hide it, and then let's say this dot hide, quick, opaque, disappears because it's hiding. We could also have it hide on a timer. So let's change this to 800. And then it goes away. All right, so other things we can do on quick events are obviously super exciting. I could change the background color of this as well. So $hello dot CSS, and I can say background color $FFOOFF, make it, oops, make sure I get my syntax right here. There we go. So change the background color to hot pink. Look at that. We could do this on an unquick event, and I could probably chain this too, but let's just do quick function doot. Okay. Tidy. So now when I run this, quick, CSS is not defined. Yeah, this .css. There, look at that. How neat. So I guess the point is that there's a lot of nifty things you can do in here. All right, what else could we do? I changed the text, I changed the background, we did a little animating. Is there anything else exciting we can do? We could do chaining, so this might be interesting too. So let's say I've got this element here. Let's say hello dot, let's see, CSS, background color black. And just, I mean, for argument's sake, let's also do .css color white. So we'll change the background. And now I change the background to black, font color to white. And honestly, there's better ways to do it than chaining CSS after CSS here. But just to show you, this got changed and then this got changed. I could also then do dot animate. And what did we do? Opacity, I think we did before. Yeah. Opacity. Animate. Opacity 0.5. So now we should see, look at that. Run, animate. So point here is chaining, not necessarily, do CSS after CSS after CSS. Add a class, remove a class, show something, hide something, stuff like that. All right, getting a little bit deep into the weeds here. I guess the entire point of this video is to really show you how easy it is to update HTML properties. Now, I am doing things directly by grabbing the ID. There is nothing stopping you from grabbing every single element within a p tag. There's nothing stopping you from grabbing every single thing with a class tag. Doing form validation, doing all kinds of different things to really spice up your user experience. I guess one last thing let me show you here. So let's copy this, paste this, get rid of the ID. Hello there. Okay, so I'm going to run this again. I see my first one is still animating, second one is not, because this rule only applies to the ID. What I could also do is instead of this $hello, I could just say $ and then P. It's going to apply to all of them, right? I could copy and paste this V. Yeah, let's just do that. And look, they're all going to do this at once. Okay, so grabbing a tag by that. And again, there's ways that we could just grab the class name, lots of different possibilities. Anyway, hope this made sense. Again, a little bit rambling because It was unscripted, but I just wanted to really show you, I guess, A, how to load jQuery in with Jsfiddle, and B, show you how easy it is to use. Anyway, bye everybody.